My name is Patty Schlueter, and I'm 49 years old. And I was brought to Sterling after a course of other therapies. So on the 1st of January 2019, I suffered an accident that caused me to fully dislocate my right hip to the posterior. And after 10 weeks of not being able to bear weight and going through then kind of relearning to walk and months of physical therapy, I found myself deteriorating. I found myself encountering more pain when I stood, more pain when I walked, rather than less, even though I had gone through about 8 months, I think, of physical therapy at that point. So I came to Sterling out of desperation. I was at that point 10 months post-accident and just really wanting to resume the ability to walk pain-free and fully upright. Well, the approach is extremely different. I found physical therapy to be particularly targeted on the areas of pain. So in my case, my hip and my knee and my right leg, whereas Sterling addresses the entire body structure, right? So it wasn't just focused on those two aspects. It was focused on my entire right side and my entire posture. So I'll be honest, at first it seemed it seemed very unusual and almost a little head scratching. When you leave that first time, you're like, wow, I do feel better, but how did that happen? And it definitely took dedication, daily dedication over time. So 3 months later, I am now walking fully upright and walking almost consistently pain-free. The homework is not, the homework itself, each repetition of the homework doesn't take a lot of time. The important thing is that you do multiple repetitions per day. So in the morning, I'll do 2 repetitions before I go to work. That's maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And then throughout the course of the day, of course, I try to get in some stretches and some ball stands, and that's a minute at a time. And then in the evening, I'll do another few rounds of homework. So again, over the course of the evening, I may invest 30 to 40 minutes. It takes relearning how to position your body, and I found that in the course of my injury, being non-weight bearing, I had taken on even more, I don't want to say poor habits because it's what I needed to do to recover from the injury. But post-injury, when I was getting back to weight bearing and walking, those habits were no longer serving me well. So I need to unlearn those newly learned habits, as well as unlearn some poor posture habits I had accrued over time, being someone who sits at a desk most of the day. The computer posture is not conducive to us maintaining a pain-free lifestyle. So it was really, and it does take refinement over time. I was kind of amazed over the first month to 6 weeks. I would come in for my sessions and I would think I was doing it right, and I was. But Judah would have, okay, well, let's refine this and let's refine that. So there were consistent refinements, but incorporating those consistent refinements yields better results. So it paid off, but yeah, you really have to pay attention to detail. But yeah, to be able to sleep now through the night, pain-free, without pillows wedged underneath my knees, is really a blessing. So physical therapy, I mean, I don't mean to knock physical therapy. It has its place and its purpose, and I think it served me well to a point. But I think it got to the point where the exercises honestly were making me worse. I was having more pain in my hip flexor and in my knee. I was becoming more contracted and less able to stand upright, and even more people were noticing it and commenting on it. And I would raise these concerns, and my physical therapist just didn't seem to know what to do with me, you know? I guess it was such a unique situation, but also the conventional treatment wasn't working. And so it came down to that question of, do I continue to do the same thing and expect a different outcome? Because that's not working. So yeah, I mean, I could continue, you know, I'm fortunate to have very good insurance. They would have sent me to physical therapy, you know, 100 sessions in a year with $20 copays. But to what end? At some point, it's not the money, it's the quality of life, and how much more time and effort am I going to expend to not be able to walk comfortably, to not be able to participate in activities with my family, you know, to not be able to take my pooches on a jaunt around our neighborhood. The personal investment of money, ultimately, my husband and I, you know, both assessed it and decided it was far worth it in the long term. I would wholeheartedly recommend that they try it. I have, in fact, recommended it to a few people already. My mom is post knee replacement. I've recommended it to her. My sister-in-law has a nagging shoulder issue, even though she's been through physical therapy. So I would encourage you to try it. I think a 10-session investment is worth it, even if all you walk away with is the knowledge of how you are positioning yourself in your environment and how that plays a role in the pain that you're experiencing. So you've got nothing to lose but the potential for a more comfortable life, really, is kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
And I was pretty desperate.
You were, and I love how far you've come from that first, literally.
Yes, I'm very grateful.